I'm a failed conducting major. I always majored in music, art, and design in high school, and I was fortunate enough to get sponsored to go to Westminster, which was the, and is still today, the Music Academy at Princeton. So I got in on voice, piano, and conducting, and actually I fell in love with conducting, and the reason I'm telling you that, I use that as a metaphor for leadership. And especially in today's time, where everything is getting rediscovered, reinvented, repurposed, and we're so lucky to be in this age of creativity. And finally, if if you stick around long enough and you stay true to your core purpose, you can see change happen. Ever so, I wish it was faster, and I wish we were conditioning our leaders to be more adaptive and more open, and I guess that's my crusade. So I use conducting as a metaphor because great conducting is not about micromanaging. Great conducting is about understanding the genius that lies inside every player and every instrument. And the role of the conductor is to understand what that genius can be and how to bring it out. So from there, I went to the windows. I spent some time in Europe. I worked at Harvey Nichols. And then I came back to B. Altman, where I met an incredible lady, and her name was Dawn Mello. Anybody know Dawn Mello's name? The reason I bring this up and I share it with you is that I'm sure that you have been touched by great leaders, people that care about you, that see something in you that you can't see in yourself. She was one of those grand dames on Fifth Avenue. Beautiful style, great taste, and she knew how to nurture and develop talent. And Dawn went on to be the first female president of Bergdorf Goodman. She was very comfortable in the so-called man's world at the time. But she broke through and then went on to be courted by Maurizio Gucci in the late 80s. Gucci family was struggling. Dawn Mello was the one that was invited, first female, to run the Gucci empire. And that was sacrilegious. And it actually cost, it's a great book on the Gucci family, and Dawn is a major part of that story. It cost Maurizio Gucci his life because his family they never could understand why anybody would invade their family company from the outside. But it was Dawn Mello who actually turned it around and resurrected the brand. And I tell you this because people like that in our lives see something in people that they can't see in themselves. And she saw something in a guy that was doing windows on Fifth Avenue, not me, but wanted to know what collection of merchandise he was presenting. And that person was Michael Kors. And it was Dawn that brought him out of the windows and nurtured and developed him into his own point of view and how to develop collections, as she did with many designers. But this designer that she saw at Perry Ellis, who was just an associate designer, and his name was Tom Ford. And it was Dawn that saw something in Ford. So I set the table for that because it's kind of my story. I've gone from the windows to the boardroom. It was not a plan. It still isn't. And if you're in the creative business, there's no such thing as turning off the faucet because you're a certain age. Creativity doesn't stop developing as long as you're curious. Design is the most objective voice because design thinking people are about solving the most complex problems. And that it is not just about making things beautiful. It's about making things work. It's getting to the essence of what is the real problem that the organization really needs to solve versus the 100,000 points of view that are going to be in your face every day. And if you have that objective discipline, because you're responsible, you have to own innovation, you have to own design, you have to own the future. And CEOs that delegate that are CEOs that are just not comfortable with sitting in a space of unknown. And yeah, how many of us have had to do that? But in design, you have to be standing in a space of possibility, always. And that means that it's ambiguous and that everything doesn't have a formula to it. But it is a method and it is a process. And if you follow that method and process, unexpected discoveries will appear. And those seemingly disconnected ideas can be brought together, and that's where breakthrough thinking and innovation lives.